Hi, good morning, Hernandez students. Once again, we're here with IB Flex. I'm Mrs. H, the IB coordinator here at Hernandez, and we're going to be discussing IB Global Context this week. Remember, we have the middle years program, years 6, 7, and 8 at Hernandez, and each month we have IB lessons that are designed to help you understand a little bit more about the IB program and your role in the IB program. So, this is week number 3, and today we're going to be discussing slides 1 through 13. All right, we are going to start out today with a video. It's called The World's Largest Lesson, and then we'll talk a little bit about what you see in the video.
Hello, my name is Marara and I'm from Pakistan. We have a very urgent mission to complete by 2030 and you can help us. Together, we must fight inequality, end extreme poverty, and respect our planet. I'm determined to do this. Are you?
Excuse me. Hello? Have you got a minute? This is important. We need your help. Imagine you're traveling in space. You're looking for intelligent life. You've been traveling for a while because space is very spacious. You've already spotted millions of planets with no life at all, lots of acid, lava, that sort of thing. But nowhere you'd go for your holidays. And then you see it. Earth. A tiny island in space. A little speck of water, rock, and soil with a thin veil of air that we can breathe. There might be life out there in space, but here on Earth, it's everywhere. On the land, in the water, in the air. Plants, insects, birds, fish, and every type of living creature. Some beautiful, some, frankly, a bit weird. And people, billions of people like you and me. You know, beautiful, reasonably intelligent life. Well, just saying. In most ways, we're just like the rest of life on Earth. We start from tiny seeds, and with the right conditions, we grow and mature. To do that, we all need the same basic things. No, not mobile phones, trainers, and Facebook, but fresh water, clean air, and healthy food. Without those, we don't last long, no matter how smart our phones are. The good news is that Earth has enough for all of us. The bad news is we've got some serious problems in our way. The first is climate change. The way we're living on Earth now is damaging the very things we need to live. The fuels we burn are choking the atmosphere with gases we can't breathe. We're running out of clean drinking water, but some of us waste it on things that we don't need. And all of this is changing the weather, and that's not even the half of it. The second problem is inequality. Some people on Earth have far more than they need, and most people don't have nearly enough. Many live in terrible poverty. It's just not right. Millions of people are unable to get medicines or healthcare that could stop them from getting sick, or cure them if they do. In some places, children complain about having to go to school. In others, millions of children can't go to school at all. Is that fair? The thing is, we're causing these problems. So we can fix them too, if we all work together and get creative. Let me explain. If you think about it, all living things have superpowers. Birds can fly. We can't. Dogs can smell things we can't, which is not always a bad thing. Plants absorb gas that we can't breathe and turn it into air that we can. But human beings have a power that other creatures don't. We are the most creative creatures ever. Our heads are full of ideas and we're great at making things too. With that power, we've already changed the world over and over and solved thousands of problems. So now we can do it again. The good news is we have a plan that can only succeed with your help. There is one organisation in the world that represents the people of 193 countries, and it's entirely dedicated to keeping us peaceful and working together. You may have heard of it, the United Nations. They have just announced the Global Goals for Sustainable Development. These are 17 goals to protect the planet against climate change and make the world safer, fairer, and more just for everyone. We have to achieve these goals by 2030. The great thing about a plan is that we can check how we're doing as we go along, give ourselves a pat on the back if we do well, and try harder if not. 2030 isn't so far away, so we need to start right now. There's a lot we can do if we work together and get really creative. We can start by making these goals famous. So find out what they are and tell everyone, and ask everyone to tell everyone else. Then, and this is the exciting bit, see if there's something practical you can do to actually help. If we don't waste food, water, or electricity, that would help protect the planet. If we all stick up for people who aren't being treated fairly and respect each other's human rights, that would make a big difference too. There are 17 goals altogether, so lots of different ways in which you can help. We also need some new ideas and new ways of doing things. What if being a girl or a boy made no difference to how safe you feel, the friends you have, or the places you can go? What if we found new ways to make water clean and drinkable? What if we could recycle all of our waste? What else do you think we could do? We all live on Earth, and we depend on the Earth to live. We have so many different cultures, but we only have one planet. If we take care of it and each other and share what we produce fairly and sustainably, everything we need is right here. Someday we may find intelligent life on other planets. In the meantime, let's see how intelligent we can make it down here for all of us. At home, on Earth.
Just saying.
All right. So with that, what they're talking about is the United Nations group of nations. They have come up with what they've called the Sustainable Development Goals. So these are those 17 goals that they talked about in the video. And these are the goals that everyone around the world should, number one, know about, and then number two, do what they can in their area of influence in order to help out. And so we as an IB school will also be helping with the goals. And this year, as you know, our project or our partnership with a local nonprofit is with Wellaware. So they help in areas of the world, particular Africa, and a couple of other places in order to help with clean water and sanitation. So if you'll look at goal number 6, this is the goal that we are going to be focusing on as we help or assist Wellaware with their mission. And along with that, for IB, we have 6 global contexts that you will see posters in all of your IB classrooms and that your teachers will try to help you understand as well. And the aim of all of the IB programs is to develop internationally minded people. That's you guys, that's the students. We want you to learn more about what's going on around the world and how we can help make the world a little bit of a better place. And so as IB students, we recognize our common humanity, that means we're all human, and shared guardianship of the planet. We only get one planet. And so what we do with it, how we care for it, will affect not only the world in which we live, but also for future generations, for your children and for their children as well. And so our goal is to help create a more peaceful world. So we talked about there are 6 global lenses through which we can view our world, and each lens helps you see the world in a slightly different perspective. And what we have is we have a few pairs of glasses here. If any of you have tried to put on a pair of glasses that have, say, a yellow lens, and then to see what the world looks like with the yellow lens, everything is yellow tinted. We have blue glasses here, everything is blue tinted. We have like red glasses, everything looks red. You kind of get the picture. And so similar to that, our global contexts, each of them, all 6 of them, are lenses through which we can study information in our classes, and it's a little bit different based on the lens that we choose. So the first one is personal and cultural expression. So, what is creative expression? How do people use various forms of expression? And how do cultures use creativity to express beliefs and values? So, as we look around the world, we notice that not only are there different countries, but people look different in different countries. They might choose different styles and clothing and ways of life. And so, through personal and cultural expression, that's how we look at it. And here we have a man from India in more of a traditional type of clothing. In this slide, we have the traditional clothing of many different countries. And as you can see, it looks very, very, very different. We have everything over this side with in Scotland wearing a Scottish kilt, in Samoa wearing their beautiful headdresses, to Africa with some of the more traditional face painting techniques and their costuming. We have China, beautiful tapestries there. Same thing with Thailand. And then with Russia, the beading and everything that comes with that. And for you, think about your culture. Think about more traditional dress that might come with your culture as well. All right. And then the second global context is called globalization and sustainability. That means we're going to be looking at the entire world. So, how is everything connected? How do our decisions affect the environment that we live in and the people? And then, how are local, meaning Round Rock, Texas, and global systems connected? And so for this one, we're going to look at everything human and how humans connect throughout the world. And so this is a graphic. It looks at the economic dependence on exportation and importation of goods. And if you have paid attention to the news recently, we have our ports, especially off the coast of California, where they have hundreds of shipping containers that are just sitting there off the coast of California, and they're just waiting to be unloaded. And so, with COVID and a lot of things that are going on, with shortages of labor, and it's a pretty complex issue, but it just shows us that when things don't work smoothly, that goods and services, maybe some of the presents you might get for your family, for whatever you celebrate, whether that be Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, any of those holidays, they say that there might be a shortage this year of goods just because they just haven't been able to unload them and get them in. And so all of that is looked at through this global context, which is globalization and sustainability. And this is another graphic that kind of shows the economic dependence of first world countries, which are in green. That includes us, the second world countries, which are in yellow, and the third world countries, which are in red. And so think about this question: how dependent is the United States on other countries? And a quick test that you can do when you go home: look at some of the labels of your clothing and other goods and see where it comes from. And I bet you a lot of what you have in your house, in your closet, these goods come from other countries, which we rely on for trade and economic dependence. All right, and here are a few other um, things that it talks about. Um, so here we have the economic dependence. It says a never ending situation in which nations, economies, economic agents, and entities depend on depending on one another economically. Also think about the coronavirus and how that's affected travel. We've had a travel ban on many countries for over a year. Similarly, other countries have had a ban on American travel to their countries. So to me, we are all interconnected. So we've discussed the first two contexts today, And on Thursday, we will be back and we'll talk about the other four. So, with that, Bulldogs, have a great day. We have a few questions in Schoology. You can talk about them as a flex group and answer them. And we will see you again tomorrow. Have a good one.